Let's talk about how you can diagram indirect objects. And in this sentence, we have a verb, so he passed. And the verb appears to have two different objects. So it has a tissue, right? He passed a tissue. This would be our direct object. And then we also have her. Now, of course, he doesn't actually pass her. He passes the tissue to her. So her here is the indirect object. And we can describe the indirect object as that which receives the direct object. The other criterion that we have for an indirect object is that it does not have to already. So there's no to, right? It doesn't say pass the tissue to her. And if we add these things up, then an indirect object can be identified when there's something that receives the direct object and when there's no to. Now, how do we diagram this? Let's do this fairly quickly. We'll just do this by hand. So we have he, we have passed, right? There's our verb. And then we have a direct object, so tissue. And we'll just add here, the article. And then what we do for the indirect object is we draw this slanted line underneath, but we don't put anything on it. And then we just put the indirect object right on this line. So he passed her a tissue. And you can almost imagine a kind of to implied here, right? Which could go on the line if it were in the sentence. All right, so the indirect object then, just to repeat, it has no to, it receives the direct object, and it's diagrammed by having the slanted line that remains empty, and then we place the indirect object on the other line.